Alright, so what we have made is we made a chess controller. We wanted to make a chess controller so that we could basically just play chess with the computer, but with a real chessboard in front of us that we just move the pieces to actually control it with. So the first thing I will point out is that it will automatically detect the chessboard. The webcam is on top of the monitor like it usually is. I just pointed it down a little more than it usually goes. And all I do is it should automatically detect the chessboard. Now, as you can see, all of the pieces are drawn onto the board. While I only had my pieces, the enemy pieces are completely shown only on the screen. This is so that we don't have to move the enemy pieces when controlling it. If I go over it a little bit, I can kind of trip up the detection. I will point out that we are not using any kind of machine learning for this. Nor are we doing even something like homography. I wrote some custom code that uses a lot of morphology magic to identify every single one of these. So this piece is identified specifically as a pawn, not as, like, it doesn't detect movement. That was one thing that we realized that we could have done, was just say, oh, we can see that something moved, and so we could tell what it was. But if I move that forward, it tells me that there was an invalid move made because you can't move the rook from there to there. So, yeah. We then hooked it up to an AI that plays automatically, and you can see that it plays very quickly. It's very responsive, and it works very effectively at actually doing this. And so, yeah. All I have to do if I want to make a move is I physically make the move, and it makes the move for me. Now, one thing I do want to show, but it might take us here. Let's move that up there. When it takes a piece of mine, it specifically notifies me that a piece was taken, and the problem here is that it can't. It doesn't want to make an error with the display, so it will tell me that the piece was taken until I remove it from the board, at which point it actually moves their piece. And so, yeah, you can continue playing for a little while, but I'm not very good at chess, so it's not like I'm going to win anyway, and we have not been able to beat this AI. Probably not because the AI is very good, more probably just because we're not very good. Just being realistic. And yeah, it's a cool project, and it ended up working surprisingly well. And yeah, thank you. Alright, I realized that the last video didn't act like when I moved the pawn down here, I didn't actually move it in such a way that would prove what I was trying to prove. Basically, the idea is, instead of detecting actual pieces, what we could in theory do is just figure out what changed, and what that would mean. So for example, if I wanted to move this pawn forward, I just move it forward, and I'd say, oh, hey, there's something here that was previously here. I want to show that that's not the way that things are done. I will take the rook out from here, move the pawn down here, and then move the rook up there. Now, you can't see it, but in the terminal it's telling me that I'm doing things that I'm not supposed to be doing, but that shows that no matter what I do with this, it does not detect it as what it should be. It's just, it detects it as a rook and says, hey, you can't be doing that. But if I move this back down, it's probably going to make the turn very quickly. Yep, okay, because I left it there. Another point that I will mention is that it's not rotation based. I have these all facing down because it is the neat way to do it. But I can spin this around, and let's see, you can see that it's upside down. If I move that up here, it still is like, okay, that's still a pawn. It shouldn't matter to the computer. As you can see, I just got destroyed, so that's fun.